I'm Alisa. I'm gonna be trying a bunch of different matcha recipes today. I've gotten into matcha pretty recently and there's just been so many new trends popping up on my TikTok that I really want to try. I'll put a list right here of all the matcha recipes that I want to try today. Actually, not just today, for like the whole week. But there's gonna be some basics, you know, your typical iced matcha latte, and then there's also gonna be a bunch of ones that I haven't tried before. Also, if you go in the description, I'll have chapters for like each of the recipes, so if you're looking for one specifically that you wanted to try, it will be there. And it would mean a lot if you like this video and subscribe to my channel. Let's get into it. All right, so the first recipe we're making is your typical iced matcha latte, the most like basic recipe. So the first thing you're gonna need is your hot water at 175 degrees Fahrenheit, and bloom your whisk. So basically the steps are going to be that you're going to add about 1 teaspoon of your matcha powder. So the one I'm using today is this one. It's not a really good quality one in my opinion. I think it tastes kind of bitter and the coloring is really off, but this is, you got to use it out. And then you're going to take a teaspoon of that, you're going to sift it through like one of these, a sieve, and then you're gonna take your whisk and you're gonna whisk it in hot water in like a zigzag motion until it's all basically dissolved and not like clumpy. For your traditional iced matcha latte, what you're gonna do is you're gonna add it into like iced milk. I like to sweeten mine with maple syrup, but it's ultimately up to you. A lot of people don't even like to add any sugar, and I'll be using this vanilla milk today, which already has some sugar in it, so I'm adding very, very little maple syrup. Okay, so just to do a side-by-side comparison, this one is a lower quality matcha. From my understanding, it's because the color and also it just tastes a little bit more bitter. And then this one I did a cold whisk for myself. There will be shorts for that. And it is a higher quality matcha, so the green is much more vibrant and it has like a much sweeter taste to it, so no bitterness. So I made this one for my mom. I'm not gonna taste it, but I generally do like it this way. The cold whisk is still my favorite as of this far, so I would rate this way like an 8 out of 10. Okay, so the second recipe is a cold whisk matcha, which basically the only difference between this one and the previous one is that you whisk it in milk instead of water. I'm already blooming my whisk. Is it focused? Yeah, definitely don't forget to bloom your whisk. I think this is the most important step. So this is the matcha that I will be using today. And I'm actually running low on it, so we'll probably be using a new one for tomorrow's recipe. But yeah, this was not bad. This was $16.80 for, I think, 42 grams. No, 28 grams. $16.80 for 28 grams. I like it. It's kind of sweet, so this one's nice. Probably would get this one again, but I have a different one that I want to try. Okay, I'm gonna sift in my matcha now, and we will be whisking it. Okay, so now instead of pouring in water, you're gonna be pouring in milk. So I'm using this vanilla milk. Okay, so now I'm just gonna whisk it. So I've actually been making this recipe for the last few weeks or so. This was actually a recommendation from another video that I had made. I tried it and I basically haven't gone back. I've been making it this way since, just because it's so much creamier than your regular matcha. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some ice and some milk and we're gonna mix this. Oh no. Whoops. Anyways, now we add our milk.
Bruh.
Okay, actually, hold on. Okay, take 2, milk. Okay, now we get to mix it. Very satisfying. All right, so I use vanilla milk, which has like sugar in it. It literally tastes like vanilla and it's very sweet. You can consider this also like a vanilla iced matcha. Okay, taste test. I feel like I'm super surprised that I've been having this for every day for like a few weeks now. I would rate this way of matcha like a 10 out of 10. This is definitely my favorite way to consume it. I think because you whisked it in milk, it's a lot creamier than when you just whisk it in water. Highly recommend trying it this way, like cold whisking your matcha. Just make sure you wash your whisk like right after you do it, and then you won't damage it. All right, the next recipe is gonna be a cinnamon iced matcha. So the only thing that I saw that was different about this in like the TikTok recipe was just the fact that you sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon on the top at the end. So let's make the regular matcha. Okay, I'm gonna whisk it in water. Alright, look at that nice foam that we have. Oh, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a nice foam. I think this is a good quality matcha. Yesterday when I had made my cold whisk, it didn't whisk in properly, or there were like a little bit of clumps. I'll have to give it another try. So I have my ice. And a beautiful green color. So then I think I just take the cinnamon and I just, oops, that might have been a lot. I put about that much cinnamon, I don't know. I'm gonna grab a straw and then we can mix it. Okay, so the first thing I will say is that from what I know, cinnamon is kind of hydrophobic, so it doesn't like mix into liquids, or at least not water. So all the cinnamon is just sitting on the top right now. So I don't really know if this is gonna taste any different. I taste a little bit of cinnamon. This is actually really good. I would say maybe if I had made it a cold whisk, I would have enjoyed it even more because it would be that much more creamy. But I would give this like a 9 out of 10. Like this is pretty solid, especially if you really love cinnamon. Like it kind of reminds me of the fall. So if you're looking forward to the fall because we're heading into it, this is definitely, I would say, like a great way to have like a fall themed matcha. Good morning. So fourth recipe now. We're gonna be making a strawberry matcha latte. I'm basically gonna do a regular cold whisk and we're gonna speed run that like super fast. But before all of that, I'm gonna wash up some strawberries, cut them up really, really small so that they actually fit in the straw. I think everything else is the same. You layer the strawberries onto the bottom of your cup and then you make your matcha latte on top of that. Okay, so the whisk is blooming right here. So I washed up 3 strawberries. I don't think you're gonna need a lot. From what I can tell, it literally just creates like a little layer at the bottom, and I didn't want the whole thing to taste like strawberry. So I'm definitely winging this. Like this is not a recipe I've done before, but I think it's gonna be good. This seems to be like a very popular recipe on TikTok. I'm gonna cut these strawberries up now and I guess we'll see how this goes. Okay, so I really don't exactly know what I'm doing, but I think 2 strawberries will be enough, just from the amount that I've cut up. I'm just gonna eat this one. Okay, so from my understanding, we're gonna put the strawberries in here and take like something small to like kind of crush them up into the bottom. Here's the strawberries. Honestly, probably could have used that 3rd one. Leave it up to you guys. I don't think that these were super sweet to begin with. Don't want it to ruin the matcha if it's not good. So from what I've seen, people have been using like something like this, although I'm just using like, yeah, it's the thing to scoop honey, but anything to kind of like crush it. So like, I think you just crush them down now. This always goes wrong. All right, let's go make a cold whisk. Okay, so the matcha is finished. Okay, I was gonna add some maple syrup, but I think I'm gonna wait until we've tried it without. Okay, so what I will say also is that if you have this matcha brand or you're thinking about getting it, that it doesn't work very well in a cold whisk. It whisks a lot better in like hot water. Yeah, like I keep getting like clumps and stuff on the bottom, so that's really unfortunate. All right, taste test. So I will say this probably isn't my favorite one just because the strawberries are a little bit sour. So honestly, it could be a really good recipe if your strawberries are sweet. I'm not sure, but for me, I'm gonna give this recipe like a 6 out of 10 just because it also takes extra work in the morning to like cut up your strawberries and throw it in. And I just kind of like how my matcha tastes on its own without the strawberries. So yeah, 6 out of 10. I'm gonna add some maple syrup just to be sure. Yeah, I just think the strawberries kind of overpower it. That like, I can't really taste the matcha. With the strawberries still in my mouth, I just taste the strawberries. So I think it's a little bit overpowering. That's just my opinion. I know a lot of people have been loving it, so 6 out of 10. Sorry, guys. Good morning, guys. This is the last recipe, and this one was the one that I was the most excited for. So this is the Matcha Dalgona. So basically, you're not gonna need your whisk or anything. From my understanding, all you do is you're gonna take your heavy cream, you whisk your matcha into that, and then you add it into milk and ice. It sounds super easy, super simple. I'm also gonna be adding like maple syrup just so it's a little bit sweeter. Only thing is that I didn't know that it was supposed to be heavy cream. I thought it was supposed to be whipping cream. So I'm gonna be using whipping cream, and I hope that that's okay. I guess we'll find out together. But when you guys go and buy your ingredients to try this, it's heavy cream that you want. Okay, so yes, like I said, I got whipping cream. Anyways, so I'm literally gonna take the same amount of matcha I always use. Oh my god, I feel like I'm just gonna make like matcha whipped cream instead, but okay. So adding my whipping cream. 1, 2. Oh, I do love how it smells though. And then I think we just... It's so thick that the milk frother is like barely spinning. Okay, let me show you guys what I got. That's kind of what it's looking like so far. I feel like I can almost guarantee you that there's clumps in there and that it didn't whisk very well, but I'm just gonna toss it in and we'll give it a little taste test. Okay, and a dash of maple syrup. There's not as many clumps as I thought, but it looks really good. It looks like a barista kind of drink. So here it is. We're gonna do a little mix. So all I can say is you see these little green smears? That's like clumps of matcha like scraping along the wall of this jar. It definitely didn't incorporate super well. Like there's gonna be lots of clumps in here. Okay, taste test. It's so weird that I'm just drinking whipping cream, but it basically tastes like the cold whisk, but even creamier is how I would describe it. Probably wouldn't be like my go-to matcha, but like as a treat once in a while, definitely would have this. I give this like 11 out of 10. I just feel like this was the easiest recipe and I don't taste the clumps at least, even though I can see them, but it was super easy to do. I basically have very little dishes to wash. And there's no like whisking or anything because it's the milk frother. And it just tastes really good. Obviously it's heavy cream, it's gonna taste really good. 11 out of 10. I think this one was my favorite recipe so far. Alright guys, so that's everything for this video. I have the Matcha Dalgona with me. This was super fun to make. I honestly want to try even more recipes. I just don't know like what people want to see and also just like what recipes are even out there. I want to try so many different matcha recipes because I feel like there's probably so many that are so good that I just don't know about. So if you guys have any recipes you want to share with me, please comment them below. I would love to hear your thoughts on this video and the ones that I made, as well as any other ones that you think I should try. And I really want to make like a part 2 of this video of like trying even like crazier recipes. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It would mean a lot if you liked and subscribed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.